Thank you, Bob. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Can you hear me? I have a very big voice, I'm told. Yes.
You do. Most people hear you coming before they see you.
This is true.
And if we're together, forget it. Forget it. So I always wear this in honor of Bill, because he absolutely loved these. I have 3 of them. He actually acquired one from me. He used to wear it. So I'm wearing this in honor of Bill on St. Patty's Day. Yay.
So how many of you have the Irish in you? Let me see now. Isn't that grand? Good. Feeling it, letting it express, got the green on. And maybe we'll be talking a bit about that tonight, and maybe we won't. We just have to see in true Irish style.
Actually, my ancestors were Orangemen.
Yeah.
Yeah, my grandfather is rumored to have, no, not my great-grandfather used to walk around town with an orange tie on. So, but it's okay. It's all good.
Would you like to kick it off? Oh, no. I'm supposed to kick it off, aren't I? We're going to kick it off right away. No waiting tonight. I'm switching lingo on you, aren't I? I just went from Ireland to England in a snap. It's going to be like this. You're going to have to stay up. Sorry. So.
You sound like John Oliver.
On a count of 3. You ready? Guess what oh, I'm sorry. There's some people who haven't been here before who are saying, on a count of 3, we're going to do what? We're going to do a who-we. And it is exactly what it sounds like. And it's a way to raise the energy and the feelings and all the good stuff that's in the room. So, and any of you that are new here and haven't been here before wondering, are they just doing this for the new people?
No.
No, I swear. We're all going to do a who-we together, all right? And we'll do several during the night. So you won't probably do it very loud at the first one because you'll be like, really? Seriously? Honestly? Yeah, really, seriously, honestly. And I'll explain why after we do it. Without further ado, you ready? 1, 2, 3. So, and they always have fun with that and say, how much did that cost? You know, you didn't have to go to the doctor to have that. It didn't have, if you do a hoo-wee, there may be the following side effects, and then you listen for 5 minutes to all the side effects of the hoo-wee.
Don't hoo-wee while you're pregnant.
Yes, don't hoo-wee while you're driving. If the police officer is coming up to the car, don't do a hoo-wee then. That could be bad.
I don't know.
Because then you could say, step out of the car, blow into this little tube for me, please. You know?
I think hoo-wee could lead to pregnancy. Yeah, man.
You betcha. So, well,
that's a good hoo-wee.
it's a quick way to lift the energy, and look what it did in here. And it didn't cost a thing, and you have that within you. When you share it with others, look at the social fun we just had, and you know, how many of you know each other and everybody else in here? Well, we don't. But you just had a great laugh together, and it cost absolutely nothing. And what it did is it let the fear go aside, and we all met in a place where it was kind of fun. And that's what the angels ask us to do, to meet in the places where there's communion, where we can meet each other. And it doesn't matter if you're this or if you're that or if you're orange or if you're green. What matters is that we're all human beings, and we have a place where we can sit down and speak with each other and identify with each other and relate to each other, and if nothing else, at least be kind to each other. And that's what the angels would like for us to bring forward tonight, is this notion that was a really, really, really important time for those of us who bear the light workers of the world, and you are here, so congratulations, to hold a different energy rather than the stuff that's been perpetuated throughout the ages. Stuff like, and you've heard us, we've been talking about this for the past 3 years, you know, mistakes corrected without punishment. Stuff like, I may not disagree with you, but that doesn't mean I don't like you because you are not your ideas. Your ideas are just your ideas. They're not you. And when the angels worked with us to help people get new perspectives on things, they said all the time, float an idea up. Hear how it sounds from different places in the room. That's how you get to the purest form of an idea. Not because Tom and Katie said it, and that makes it perfect, But when you talk about things and you discuss things, and even when people disagree, and I'm all for people disagreeing with me, disagree. That's healthy if it's not just disagree for the sake of disagreeing, because that's a whole nother malady that we have these days. So, but when there's a disagreement, find out why. Talk about it, because that's how we get to the purest form of ideas. And when we have the purest form of ideas, that's when the really good stuff starts to happen. And that's where they want to move us. So, and I know all your families are perfect and nobody disagrees with you ever in your family, right? So if somebody disagrees with your opinion, remember, it's not you they're disagreeing with, it's just an idea. And that takes a lot of the energy out of it. And that makes it a little bit easier to sit down and have a conversation. Yeah? Sehr gut. Yeah, I went to the German. I told you I'm going to be doing this all night. Yeah, so you stay with me. We'll make it all happy. We'll make it all fun. So we're going to do a little bit of the exercises, build you up. Look, I'm going to run for the governor of California. Yes. I'll be back. So.
Crazy.
People pay big money for this, to see me on stage. You're getting this for like the bargain.
It's like, where are you hiding all the cash, honey? So, a microphone. They've been giving us some really interesting lessons lately, and they're all. I love it when they use analogies with water, because water is so amazing. And I was just telling Tom the other day, I said, isn't it funny? Because, it got cold, and the cat's water dish is outside, of course, frozen. And I said, isn't it funny that according to physics, things that are cold should be heavier. I mean, cold air is heavier than warm air. And I said, you can't get much colder than ice for water, but it floats. So the water that's underneath the ice is actually warmer than the ice. So water is very fascinating. Sometimes it seems to sort of defy some laws that we think of as laws. And it's interesting, Tom talked about, talking about ideas. The truth is a moving target, folks, because every time science discovers something new, the truth changes.
Pull!
Yeah.
Moving target, work with me.
Wow, I was like,
it's like this. She's the serious one, and guess which one I get to be.
Not always serious. So what they want us to do is to be adaptive, like water, right? Water flows. It takes the path of least resistance. I'm all for that. It will go around things, right? Instead of trying to barrel through them. But over time, that act of going around it eventually will begin to wear away at whatever was blocking its path. So there's some great lessons with water. And the Christ Presence came in and was talking to us about, how many of you remember when you first learned how to swim? Remember that? Yeah. Now, for some of us, they threw us in the water and said, see what happens.
Swim!
Right? But for some of us, it was a different experience. But it's always been fascinating. And they talked about the fact that, our bodies are so much, huge percentage of it is water, right? But yet, a lot of people are afraid of the water. And think about how you felt about water before you learned how to swim. You were afraid of it, right? Because, quite frankly, you knew it could kill you. But yet, it's in your body, so it's everywhere. So here we have
and
this.
If you don't drink it, what happens?
Yeah, you dry up, right? And we're always soaking in water, even through our skin, right? I mean, you go to the Pacific Northwest, man, your wrinkles just disappear. You go to the desert Southwest, and they come back. So here is this substance, but because we're afraid of it. Why? Because we don't know how to manage it, right? Remember that thrashing and but remember the first time you figured out, if I just lay back, I can float. Remember that feeling? There was that sort of, you were excited, but you were still a little nervous because the water was like right here on your face. But all of a sudden, your relationship with water changed, didn't it? You weren't afraid of it anymore. It was fun. You liked to swim in it. You could, or, row boats in it. You could do all kinds of things with it. We have water parks, right? We can fish in it. We can do all these things with water. When we think about how we can change our relationship with those things that are fearful to us, right? All of a sudden, your fear is gone. Well, the Christ presence came through after that lesson, which I thought was really profound. And then he began to talk more about it, and he said, what is it that a lot of people are afraid of? Really deep water. What scares us is the depth of it. Now, the truth is, as long as it's over your head, it doesn't matter if it's 90 feet or 9 feet. Technically, it's equally hazardous to you. But there's something about being in that really deep water that makes us nervous, even if we can swim sometimes. And he said, but yet, there's all these things about water that you love and can enjoy, and it actually is part of who you are. So why are you not immersing yourself in the water and just allowing? And then he said, or am I only talking about water? What is it that's really deep that a lot of us are afraid of?
4-letter word.
Love.
Love.
And he said, why are you not immersing yourself in love? And we were with a group of people, and he said, I can hear you. You're going, well, of course I would immerse myself in love if I could only find it. Right? Well, he said, what you're looking for, or what you think you're looking for, may not really be love then, because it's everywhere. It's a matter of looking and allowing it to happen. When we were here in the panel, how many of you were at the panel about love, a few weeks ago?
And it was great except for the last speaker. That last speaker, I mean, where did they find that guy from? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it was awesome. But it was funny because there was a panel of us. Bob was here, and Katie Anna, and Tom and I, and Michael was there. And none of us rehearsed. I think Bob probably knew it. Well, no, he said he changed what he was going to talk about too. So it was really interesting. We all just wang it. And it was so cool because I'm sitting there thinking, well, okay, I'm listening. And they said to me, you realize there is no place where love is not. And I went, what do you mean? And they said, even though things that may be going around on the surface do not appear to be loving, what's really happening is it's creating that potentiality for love to come forward to heal it. So if love is the cure, that means it's there. It just has to be opened up to and brought forward. So like water, love is everywhere if we just stop and let it come in instead of grabbing for it. And he said, anybody that tells you, well, love is painful and love is this, love is that, if it doesn't sound like a good feeling, then it's not love that you're experiencing. What you are experiencing is the pain of separation from someone that you love, or you're suffering from some form of an unhealthy attachment to something that you loved that's no longer there. That's not love, because love will always make you feel blissful. And it doesn't matter that that thing or that person is there or not. When you hold on to the love, that bliss will stay with you forever if you allow it to. Right? So they're really asking us to think about what really is love. And what were my ideas about love? What was my truth about love that I can change because now I'm looking at it from a different way? Make sense? Cool.
Okay. And so as Katie was talking, they're talking with me about love and the search. And they're saying it's not in the jungle. It's not out there. It's not over here. It's not over there. It is in all things. But the first place that we hope you find it is in here. Because you're not going to see it out here until you see it and feel it and know it in here. It's kind of like if you go and someone said to you, I am going to take you to the west coast of Africa, and we're going to go look for diamonds. And in your head, you're looking for this shiny thing that looks like one of those. Is that how diamonds in the raw look? No. So how would you know when you saw one? If you've never seen one before? You wouldn't. Somebody had to show you, right? Who had to show you how to love? Possibly. What I would suggest is you already knew how to love when you came in. You were wired for it. You automatically orient towards love, towards that which is whole, towards that which is nurturing. Did you have to be taught that? Exactly. It is innate. It is in the purest part of you. It is in the part of you that is whole and always has been and cannot be corrupted by this world. It is your essence. It is your truth. It is what you came into this world with, primed for, oriented to, purposefully, to remind you of home, which you always have in your heart. When we get too involved in looking for it out here, and there's nothing wrong with seeing it out here. So let's go back to the diamond example, because I was talking about diamonds and realized they just told me you didn't close the loop on that appropriately, so I'm going to close the loop on it now. See, I'm not perfect. Well, no. Depends on who you ask. But so to close that idea, if somebody didn't tell you what a diamond looked like, you could walk right up to it and have no idea. In fact, funny story, true story, Catherine and I, her real name is Catherine, and I usually only call her that when she's in trouble, and that's okay, because that's when she calls me Thomas.
That was my bullet when I was a little girl. That's what it was like. The whole name. Yikes.
We went on a dig in a panning event and for precious gems and minerals and stuff in the raw in North Carolina. True story. Well, we're doing it with our sons, and Katie says, I want to get a picture. Go stand out over there where the discard pile is. So we go to the discard pile.
We were sitting at this big sluice on our little benches.
Sluice is the running water that you throw the raw material in and you swish it and try to find something that says, yes, baby, I'm yours. So, hello, darling. I've been waiting for you to find me all this time. Russian, yes, for you, I do all these things. So, the Russian ruby. But, so, we go out to get our picture taken, and Katie's getting ready to bring the camera up, because in those days we had cameras, not phones. Now, I remember when we had cameras. No. Dagnabbit, those
With
cameras
film
work.
in 'em.
It's film, yeah, you had to crank the thing. I digress. So,
Always.
what? Very good, thank you. No brag, just fact. So, Katie goes to take the picture, drops the camera, and says, look by your feet. In the discard pile was the biggest ruby?
No, piece of sodalite. Big.
Which sounds
huge.
like ruby if you say it fast.
It was
Sodalite
this big.
ruby, you know?
It was this big. And I was like, pick that up. Because they were looking for gem,
the finished product.
cut gem-like stones, not realizing you have to cut them to get them to look that way.
I found a ruby as big as my finger in a discard pile. We started looking in the discard pile after they did this, because people had no idea what they were looking for. And they're throwing it all away. It's like, thank you, God. You know? Yes. Because they didn't know its value.
Or what it looked like.
And because they didn't know what it looked like. But you are born knowing what love looks like. You forget it in fear. You come here to these filling stations, these spiritual filling stations, like New Visions, Books, and Gifts, to come back home to love. And it is out here. But the most important place you can find it is in here. And when you find it here and you realize, so now we're bringing it all together. If you didn't have it in here, you wouldn't know what it looked like out there. Make sense? If I don't know what these gems look like in the raw, once I figured it out, baby, my eyes were looking. And I hit the mother load. Yeah, baby. In the discard pile. Oh, I'm sorry, discard pile, not the disco pile. So anyway.
What is he doing?
You gotta laugh. Come on, we're having fun. Lightness is the energy of the angels. And they want us to laugh and have fun.
So maybe life is like going to the mine and you're looking for love, right? And sometimes you find it in the most unusual places, and it may not look the way you thought it would look, but you find these really interesting rocks. I love rocks. My God, our whole house is full of rocks.
It is.
And I pick them up just because they're kind of cool looking. I don't know if they have any value, but I like it, so it has value. And so we're kind of on this little gem hunt, right, of life, looking for love, right? That's what we're doing. We're identifying where it is and where it isn't, and wow, okay, so I don't see it there, but that doesn't mean it's not there. Maybe I just have to wash it off a little bit.
And so to help with that notion, a very long time ago, in fact, when we first started doing this, and that was a long time ago, the Christ presence came through and gave us a lesson, and repetition is a good thing in a learning environment, for those of you who heard this before. And he said, Thomas, look. He said, what do you see? And I said, because they're asking us to talk about light and dark and that kind of stuff. And you remember this story? Some of you do, some of you don't. That's a good thing. So, he said, look, what do you see? And I looked, and it was like the planet Earth from space. And he said, look at that. What is it? I said, it's a planet Earth. I'm looking at it like I'm an astronaut. He said, exactly. Tell me what the condition of space is that your astronauts would say it is. Well, no gravity, no air, cold, dark. He said, okay. He said, when you look up at your night sky, and this was Jesus as the Christ in this particular presence, he said, what do you see? And I said, dark, these things we call stars. The Christ presence is Jesus, has a sense of humor. He said, Thomas, I know what stars are. Sorry, forget. So these things we call stars, and the moon. That's what I see when every now and then shooting stars. Okay. He said, Thomas, there is no darkness in my Father's world. I said, well, now you're confusing me, because you just asked me, what do I see when I look up in the night sky and I say dark with these little spots like, you ask me what the condition of space is, and I tell you it's dark with all, with cold and all this other stuff. So what's that all about? He said, and I will never, ever forget this. Thomas, what is the shape of your sun? What's the shape of the sun? It's a ball. Because it's a ball, what is it emitting in all directions? And I will never forget this, because he said the words fiber optic tube, and I never expected those words to come out of the Christ presence mouth. And he says, does the light come to the planet Earth in a straw or fiber optic tube? That it's only designated for planet Earth? No. The sun is a ball. It's emitting what in all directions?
Light.
Those little things, what do we call them?
Stars.
What's their shape? What are they emitting in all directions? He said, Thomas, space is full of light. Just because these don't see them doesn't mean it isn't there. Then he said, but wait, there's more. No, he didn't say that. I said that. If you order now. He said, 2 rooms beside each other. This one's totally in the light. This one's totally in the dark. Doors open up. What happens? Light goes into the dark. If the same situation, here's these 2 big doors. This one's full of wheat or water, a commodity. This one's full of nothing. It's empty. Doors open up. What happens when the wheat or the water goes into this room over here? It's empty. What happens to the amount of wheat or water in the first room? It goes down. When the doors opened up and this room was all light and this room was all dark, what happened to the amount of light in the first room? It stayed the same. It didn't get less, did it? Do you know I was 40 years old when he taught me that, and I will never forget that because I've never, ever, ever thought about that.
In fact, the light got bigger.
The light, this is important, the light got bigger.
Because you never see a slice of dark go into a lit room, do you? No,
right.
It never happens. The light always goes into the dark.
And then, 5,000-year-old tomb in a pyramid. Archaeologist has his torch. They open up a 5,000-year crypt. This dark has had a 5,000-year hold. Inside of this crypt, how long did it take the light from the archaeologist's torch to penetrate 5,000 years of darkness? Instant. And I said, this is all amazing. He said, it'd be even more amazing if all I was talking about was light, but I'm not. That's not what my lesson to you is about. And I said, well, what are you teaching me about? He said, Thomas, I'm teaching about love. He said, I don't care how long you've had something in the darkness of your heart in your fear. You have only to open it to love for love to immediately come in. But you must open the door. He said this thing, the 2 doors, this one's full of wheat or water, this one's full of is nothing, and this one's light and this one's dark. He said, you are all taught by your world to treat your love like a commodity, like the wheat or the water. So that if I give some love to Katie, and I give some love to you, and I give some love to you, and I'm sorry, I don't know her, I swear I'm not doing it. Just to see the look he gave me, I'm just kidding. But wait, I gave some love to you, and I gave some love to you, and I gave some love to you. That must mean there's less love for Katie. He said, you're taught to treat your love like a commodity, like wheat or water. But it doesn't operate that way. When you give your love away, it gets like the light. It gets bigger. When you give it away, it gets bigger. Wow. Then, he said, just as where there is light and there is light all around you, and he said, and if you doubt that, go out on a cloud-filled night in the new moon and watch the night animals hunt completely fine. Just because these don't see them doesn't mean the light isn't there. Just because we haven't yet trained ourselves to see it doesn't mean the love's not there. It's just a matter of starting to recognize the value in things, much the same way as we have to learn the value of the gems that have been discarded. How many of you have been discarded in life by others? Sure. Your worth does not come from anyone or anything of this earth. Your worth is inherent because you are born with it. The love, your capacity to love, hold love, identify love, and be attracted towards love is born into you. You didn't have to learn it. That's a sure mark of perfection and who and what you're worth.
So
wait!
No.
1, 2, 3.
It's like, what? should know by now. You're so cute. I do it all the time. So some of us, we watched a lot of behaviors and we just kind of figured, oh, well, that must be love, right? Because those two people are together. And even though they're snarking at each other and coming this close to throwing things at each other, they're still married, so they must love each other, right? Right? So we get this kind of weird and twisted, But yet there's a piece of us that knows something's not right there, right? And sometimes we spend an inordinate amount of time trying to become something other than who and what we are in order to demonstrate our love to this person, right? Well, they want me to be more like this, so I'll be more like this. Or they want me to be like that, or they don't want me to be this way or that way. You're too this, you're too that. You're not enough this, not enough that. I can't tell you how many people we've had sitting across from the table at us, and I said, if someone were to ask you what you want, how long would it take you to figure that out? Without filtering it through mom, dad, spouse, siblings, boss, and they all go, I don't know. Right? So part of what we're being called to do is to move back to who and what we really are. And if you've forgotten, then that's where the adventure begins, to figure out who and what you are. Watch animals. The animal kingdom. This is your segue. The animal kingdom. No,
Thank you, dear.
Yeah. The animal
Lob.
kingdom. Yeah.
You saw a lob coming my way.
The animal kingdom is amazing, and you can learn a lot by watching animals, because I have yet to. Who's looking at who?
You, yeah, honest to God, he's looking at who?
I have yet to see a deer standing there in the yard looking at a squirrel going, damn, I wish I had a tail like that.
Girl, what you got to do to get that tail?
Right?
You know what I'm saying?
The animals don't compare themselves to each other. They don't. They just be them, right? You never see them. Now, I know scientists will tell us that, well, they're being competitive because it's mating season. Well, maybe, but maybe they're just so full of that life and that vigor, they just have to express it. And when they express it, the females kind of go, ooh, well, aren't you cute?
That's my excuse.
Yeah, right.
Yes, I'm so full of life.
Yeah. Why is that anyway? That in the bird kingdom especially, right? The females are these sort of muted earth tones, right? But the guys are the ones that got to strut their stuff and be all colorful. And I'm like, that's not fair.
It's all about us, guys, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know it. I got the walk. I've earned this.
But it's actually practical because the female needs to be more muted and blend in. Why? Because she's sitting on a nest full of eggs and protecting it, right? So, strut your stuff.
So, curiously, last night, some energies were coming through and talking about this very thing. And we're going to take that lesson and actually take it a little further tonight. And they said, birds are meant to fly. What would happen if a bird just clung to the branch or the nest? Because in its mind, that was more real, because it can feel it, and it knows it's safe there. But it ignored its wings. We would say, wouldn't that be a shame? And they said, are we talking about birds? Because birds have a purpose. They know their purpose, and their purpose is in part to fly. A bird doesn't have to be taught that. A bird won't sit and think about the physics of flying about how the air pressure below the wing has to be higher than that above the wing to give it lift, and all these other mathematical formulas and all those other things, and I have to spread my tail feathers to get it to be able to shift a certain way or go a different way. They're not thinking about that. They're thinking, I got to do this because it's my purpose. We can stand underneath that nest and say, you can't do that. You can't do that until the cows come home. What's that bird going to do? Why? Why is it? It'll poop on you. Absolutely right. Good answer. You stand underneath that bird. It's going to say, here's what I think of what you're saying to me about not being able to fly. But aside from that little tidbit, that bird will fly, will it not? Why? Because it's its nature, because it has to, because that's the purpose. We get lost sometimes when we get stuck up here and we forget this, and we get too much in here and we forget this, and we forget how natural it is to love. And we hold on to all this we see at her because this looks so real. It looks so real. Let's hold on to it. But it's part of the illusion. It's part of the illusion if it separates you from love. And maybe it's time to let go of some of those beliefs that don't serve you anymore, that limit you, that keep you bound to the tree and keep your wings from unfurling in the magnificence that is you, that has only been brought forward by you, the potential for you to bring you forward in this world, for whatever it is. And people say, but I'll never be this person or that person, or I won't be standing up front talking about new visions, and I'll say, yes, that's right, because we're already doing it. You don't have to. What's your purpose? And by the way, that doesn't preclude you from doing it on another Friday night forum or even tonight. My point is, everyone has this thing that's there, and that's theirs. Another curious comment from last night. One of the guides talked about, do you want to talk about the orchestra? Yes. Why don't you do that? Because you're the musical one.
I'm the musical one. You with the voice? Are you kidding me?
I'm not just the good looks. I'm also the voice. I want you to know. She said that. I'm just saying.
You're not just eye candy. So one of the guides that comes through a lot for us is Mozart. He's wonderful. He's crazy, but he's wonderful.
He is. He's a hoot.
Yeah. And he's
so much fun.
Last night he was talking to us about, he said, when you want to hear a symphony, would you walk into a room full of nothing but oboes? Right? Can you imagine a bunch of oboes just playing their part, like a whole room full of them? Ow. I mean, don't get me wrong, oboes are amazing in the appropriate proportion, right?
For those of you who are watching, our oboe fanatics, don't be writing us or writing to Tom or New Vision saying, what about that oboe slight? You don't do that.
I love oboes.
Breathe through it.
But what happens in a symphony, right? You have different instruments. And even though they may be playing the same notes, that instrument gives that note a different quality, doesn't it? So
say that again, because that's huge.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Different instruments playing the same note.
The exact same note.
But it gives it a different quality because it's not the same instrument, right? So what's beautiful about a symphony, playing a piece of music, is you have multiple different instruments, and some of the violins are playing this part and some are playing a different part. They're all playing the same song, but they're not playing the exact same notes, right? And when you pull all that together, it sounds magnificent. Whereas if it was nothing but every instrument playing the exact same notes, It would be boring as all get out, right?
However, it would sound different.
It
than
would.
than only one instrument playing the same note. The point of that aspect of it is, it doesn't matter if someone else besides you is playing the same note as you. You are not them.
And
that expression can only come forward as you bring it forward. Well, what value is that? I'll be a good husband, wife, mother, father, teacher, this, that, fill in the blank. There's lots of those in the world. Yes, there are. But they can't play that note the way you can. Just like in an orchestra, all those instruments can play the exact same note, but it has a different timbre, quality, pitch, feel.
And it's supposed to. Diversity is the way of the Creator. If we were all supposed to be identical, we would be. We'd be bored to tears. Right? And so we each bring our own music. We each bring our own sound to the symphony. And they're all equally necessary for that symphony to sound the way it needs to sound. So again, whatever brings you joy, that's your purpose. That's pretty much it. That's where that innate thing comes in. If you're doing something that you get into that zone and you love it, then it's part of your purpose. Just saying, right?
What are we talking about marine animals for? You keep talking about porpoises.
Porpoise, yeah. It's your porpoise.
Oh, he's got porpoise. Sorry. You want some of this? Because this is all drug-free, I must say, just in case any of you are wondering. Didn't do a hit before I came up tonight, and alcohol-free. This is just... Yes, exactly. This is from the Creator to you, live. So let's continue talking about love, because they're asking me to talk to you about love. Part of what makes us hold on is our fear of the unknown. And us thinking that we know all we need to know about something, because we haven't opened our mind to other possibilities. There's a great big difference between flying and opening the feet or holding on. Great big difference, right? That bird had to open its feet up and do this and feel it and experiment with it and learn wind currents. It didn't have to go to school. By the way, there's nothing wrong with school. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's living its purpose. It is so important, and it can't not do that. We have to be trained to do that by fear. And they're asking us where we can to start to alleviate the fear in our own lives, and especially where we can reach out to others and alleviate the fear with others around us, because when we lessen fear's hold, we lessen it collectively. Because fear has an intelligence. I'm sorry, but it does.
Yes, it does.
I do not name it because I don't think it needs a name, but it most certainly has an intelligence. We can choose to listen to that message or something else. I'm all for us learning to fly. Because we've been holding on to that branch a little too tight, most of us, all our lives. That which is predictable. That which we understand in our thinking, forgetting what this tells us would really bring us our joy in our life and our light. And by the way, if you're thinking that means I have to leave my current spouse or my current job, probably not. And that's where the discipline and the work comes in. Because that's where we make a decision to start to see it where we didn't know it existed before. Does that make sense? Did I lose any of you? You still with me? I see that cocked eyebrow, girlfriend. Don't you be giving me this.
No, she's going to slap her. You got me in trouble.
So the idea is, and by the way, maybe it is. Maybe it is time to let go of a stale relationship that doesn't work anymore. Maybe it is time to go away from a job that doesn't give you fulfillment, that you settled for because it made you comfortable and you really didn't have to work that hard doing it and you didn't have to think that hard and you really didn't have to, do a whole lot to make some money, and so that's okay.
But
what did it do in here?
And I know people who have elected to make that choice.
People?
Yes, I do. I pay them. I know people who, and it's really funny because at one point I would have said, oh, but they're not living up to their potential. So what? What business is that of mine?
Bingo.
If they're doing what they want to be doing because it is a means to the end, okay, right? I know somebody that has a degree in hydrogeology. Brilliant mind. Works in a little tiny bank in a little tiny town. Are you happy? Yep. Cool. Okay. Right? Okay.
That is the essence of what acceptance is. It doesn't, however, mean that you stay there if you have the opportunity to do something new and different. And you feel compelled to bring that forward. So that, in other words, don't shoot low. This is a chance for all of us to really look at what we have to bring forward in life. And it's never about feeling bad, like, oh my God, why didn't I hear? Let me give you an example. When the angels come and give us these kind of lessons, regularly I will say to them, why didn't you teach me this when I was 6? My life could be so different right now. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, only if.
And they said, we delivered it to you at the perfect time for you to hear it. And so what we want you to know and we want you to have is this notion, first of all, of acceptance, but also if you feel that urge to be more than, please listen to it. More than you are now, not being you. Because when you're you, that's when you start to do this. And sometimes, sorry, if you're going to do that, you got to let go of the branch, neighbors and friends. You really, really, really do. If you're going to see all the magnificence of you that's out there in the world.
There are some species of raptors that they look for thorn bushes and they line the very outside edge with them so that when the babies get to a certain size and they no longer fit really well, it's going to start to get uncomfortable because they're going to keep poking, they're going to keep poking.
Whole nother version of hokey pokey.
Yeah. Right. And so sometimes those of us that are we watch people we know and we think, oh, but only if, and because I can see that potential. Oh boy, do I have the T-shirt for that? String of guys, right? When I was younger. Oh, but they have so much potential. Yeah, right. Okay.
And look what she settled for.
Oh, stop that right now. Kick your ass.
You heard it in the angel sessions, yes.
And I say that with all the love in my heart. But instead of lining the nest with thorns and making it uncomfortable for them, help coach them through that fear. And say, you know what? If you don't want to do any of this stuff, that's okay. I'm good with that. Whatever makes you happy. And that will kind of, because nobody wants to be lectured, right? Don't we love getting lectured, right? Yeah. What'll end up happening probably is if you say, you know what? If you're happy, I'm happy. It's cool. And after a while, then they'll start going, but you know, it might be kind of cool enough. And then you say, tell me more. And then they get all fired up, and then you say, you could do that too, because I have faith in you. Right? So, oh boy, those of us that are parents, it is very difficult to look at these amazing youngsters and see all this potential, and they don't get it yet. That's okay. They're not going to get it because how old are these eyes and experience compared to theirs, right? And so be gentle with those friends that you know have potential and you see it. They don't need a lecture from you because they're already scared to let go of that branch, right? All they need from you is to stand there on the branch with them and talk. And eventually, they'll start flapping their wings, right? Okay, yeah, this is pretty cool. And then they'll take off and you can take off with them.
Woohoo! So Katie said something important, and I love when we do these things because Katie said many things. Let me rephrase.
That's not what I meant. It was like, when did I say something important?
Katie said many things that are important. Thank you, dear. But I notice when all of a sudden it gets very still whenever she'll say something, and then they'll be like, talk more about this. One of the things she said was, when someone says, I have confidence in you, you can do this. Where does confidence come from? Maybe sometimes. It also comes from the idea, the notion that I can do something. Confidence comes from walking over here during an angel reading, in a bookstore, and finding a white feather on the floor as I'm talking to you about confidence is a symbol for you about paying attention to cues in your environment, because when you find these little babies around, welcome to our world. The sign of angels. Confidence is, and I didn't plant that, I swear. I'm just saying for the record.
We're not wearing
in
down.
full truth for you, and I'm not wearing down.
Come on out, Michael.
So, confidence. Did you see the white feather?
I did.
Lovely.
Hard to miss.
So, confidence and fear. What is their relationship? When you have more of one, what do you have of the other? Less. The difference is in focus. The difference is in energy put towards an outcome. The way the other side taught us this, masters create differently than novices. If you are a novice and you are doing something, how certain are you of the outcome? Then you get stuck in what? When you are a novice, what do you get stuck in? You get stuck in doubt and fear, but you get stuck in the mechanics of something. Oh, we're supposed to do it this way, and we follow this sequence, and this is how it goes forward. How many of you ever cooked, and then how many of you really cooked? Okay, there's the recipe, and then there's, yeah, baby, my recipe. And my recipe has all the things in the cookbook that the cookbook doesn't have in it, right? So, exactly.
Yes.
So, including even some non-alcoholic things. So,
I was going to say, or in the bowl. Just saying.
So though, Masters create from a knowing, and then they play. It's not work at that point. They're having fun with it. They're not stuck into the mechanical orientation and sequence of events because they got the outcome down. And if I do something different and it doesn't work out, I know how to do something else different to make it work out. Right. Novices aren't certain of the outcome. Masters are. How many of you are masters at love? And if you're not, is it time maybe to start to honor that part of you? To start to truly know. To stop the, well, it looks like this, and this is the formula, and this is what I should probably be doing, and shooting on yourselves.
This is what Cosmo says.
Shooting on yourselves for an outcome. But allowing and watching what grows. Love is your perfection coming forth in expression, unfettered, unbound, freely expressed. They're asking you to begin to practice this love when you look in the mirror. Now, isn't that curious? Because they just said to me, the mirror isn't always one of the things that reflect back like in a store, because the mirror is just as likely to be the person sitting next to you. An opportunity for communion in the true holy nature of the Word. The Christ communion that feeds the soul, not the body, comes forth every time you have a moment of sharing, genuine sharing and connection. Your light gets bigger. Their light gets bigger. Is there enough light in the world right now, or could the world that we are in this country, use just a little more light? Thank you very much.
Open that door.
I think so too. And so does the other side. And so they're asking us to start to step up. That first step, please, and it can be, because we're not doing this as amateurs, not certain of the outcome, because we know the outcome, right? Because we're masters that love it, truth. While it can come from being initiated out here, we would really like, for the significant, huge majority of us, to start it in here. That's where my cup runneth over came from. Because then you're not giving. Do you notice, if you try to give to the world, and we do this, and this is one of the most common things we talk about in our sessions with people. They say to us, there's a very big difference to getting in the end of your day and being exhausted and being tired. In one, you are giving your energy out to the world. You know, I'm constantly giving. I'm taking care of this, I'm taking care of that, I'm taking care of these people, I'm taking care of that situation. I'm putting out this fire over here and that one over there. And I'm giving and giving and giving and giving and giving. And when you are in constant discharge all day long, what do you have left for the most important people in your life at the end of the day? When you go home from that thing you may call work or whatever else it is. Exactly. Not a whole lot, because you've been on discharge mode all day long. And so your batteries are empty. Do you give your best to the world when your batteries are empty or fully charged? Every time. How do you do that? You pay attention to you. And they gave us another exercise, curiously, last night. And they asked us to pay attention to when that big hand hits 12 and notice where we're coming from and start to think about more what is the expression of love that we can bring forward in this next hour. How do I feel this love in me? What does love express like in me, given this circumstance I'm in right now? What difference will this love make when I bring it forward? Sure of the outcome. When I have confidence. When I stop doubting myself, my worth. When I know my worth and I give it wholly with a W and wholly with an H to this, whatever this is in front of me now, in communion. Do you think if we lived our lives like that, we'd get to the end of our day and be in a very different place than being exhausted? Because when you give it away, there's more of it. And you get bigger, and it gets bigger. And then you go home fulfilled. My cup runneth over. Because then you're not just giving from your stuff. You've tapped into that which is divine, that which feeds you this at all times. If you but open your mind and heart to it. It is the river that will never dry out. It is the stream and flow of the divine that you are attuned to. Else you would not be here and be in animate form. Because you couldn't be. Does that all make sense? You with me now? Your people talking to my people, we got this. You know, your people up here talking to my people up here, and you got a situation, you're going to deal with someone. You talk, by the way, we're talking about angels. Bada boom, bada bing. That's how this works. So, forget about it. No, you go up, you're going to talk to somebody that want to be argumentative. Not that this ever happens to any of you. So, what are you going to do? You're going to go, what? Bring it on. No. No. What you do is you talk to your angels, you talk to their angels, you say, look, what? What? No, what? We got to make this work. You got to have fun. If you're not having fun, why are you doing it? And so you have your angels talk to each other. Have your angels talk to their angels and help lines of communication open. And set your intention to that. Half the equation is taken care of now. I am open. Whether or not they're open is on them. That's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is moi. That would be me. So, in an event where you're going into an exchange and you anticipate some lower vibrational energy, you know who's a real good one for that is Archangel Gabriel. Because Gabriel is the communication archangel. So ask Archangel Gabriel to come in. You're going to have a discussion with a family member. You're going to have a discussion.
You're going to have a discussion with your boss. Look, this is how this is. This is business. This is nothing personal. This is how it's going to go.
No. Don't talk in that voice to your boss. It probably won't go well. So... And then again, it might. You never know.
It might just scare you.
Yeah, exactly. Yo, Vinny, come in here. No, it's all good. I swear. You want to raise right now? No.
Yeah.
Don't
Just talking to the family.
I'm talking to the family. It's business. This is how it is.
So, when you go forward with this notion of communion, the energy gets bigger and more whole and more pure. And watch what happens. Now, this is where it gets fun. Watch what happens to the people around you when you hold back. Because energy is usually contagious. How many of you, and most of you in this room, or you wouldn't be in this room right now to be honest with you, are clairsentient, clear feeling? You can go into a room, and if people are, how long does it take you before you're, and you don't even know why? Just all of a sudden, it's like, oh, I was feeling great until I came in here, and all of a sudden I feel like crap. What's that all about? You picked up the stuff around you. And what they ask us to do is hold different stuff. When you start to put that out, and answer me this, are not people oriented to the light? Almost universally. When you allow that exchange and people see that, do you realize they've actually done scientific studies of this? If people observe a kindness, there's a researcher, his name's David Alexander, I believe. No.
David Hamilton.
David Hamilton, which sounds like David Alexander if you say it fast.
You're thinking Alexander Hamilton.
Yeah, there you go.
What's he on? He's on some money somewhere. I don't know.
So, what's his name again? David Hamilton.
David
Yes.
Hamilton.
David Hamilton, and he's Scottish. So if you ever had the chance to watch him on YouTube, it's fun to listen to his voice, I'm telling you. So, think about how much you paid for this. Think about what it's worth. Think about what you've been getting tonight. You know, we've filled the bill here. So, he studies the research and explains the research in terms that common everyday people like us'ns can understand. And one of the things that he found in research was, if you do an act of kindness for somebody else, because they did blood chemical studies on people, your oxytocin levels, not Oxycontin, the stuff you get on the street, actually what Oxycontin was made to mimic, which is oxytocin, the feel-good chemical your body produces, and endorphins and kephalins, the good feeling chemicals, really start to juice up when you do something as simple as an act of kindness for another human being. Curiously, an act of kindness just for you. Yeah, baby. No. I was just getting warm and it was hitting my microphone. If you give an act of kindness, you have that increase in those chemicals in your blood. Here's what's kind of fun. If you receive an act of kindness, it also goes up. Now you ready to have your toes curled?
Yes.
If you observe an act of kindness, it has an impact. This is how wired you are for feedback. And the feedback feels differently, does it? If you observe an act of unkindness, how does that feel? Icky. Yeah. Sticky. Lower vibrational. Are you attracted or repelled by it typically? Almost universally, and those who aren't are in federal prisons because they're corrupted. Truly. Okay? You're repelled by it. Automatically. Didn't have to learn that. If this tells you nothing more, if this gives you the confidence, this presentation tonight, because we can't make this stuff up, Catherine and I, you're getting it from Spirit. If nothing else gives you the confidence to be you, to know you, to step forward in love, know this that will help you. When you observe that act of kindness, that impact on you, on the other person, on the people who observe it, comes from the realization of the wholeness and perfection of love that has existed in you since you have been part of that which is all created. And it is your recognition of home and integrity and truth. And so you feel more fulfilled. That which is not that is illusion, is fear, and only has energy if you give it that energy. But as soon as you focus on the love, what happens to this? It goes away. We call those miracles. They happen every day, all around us. You don't have to spend a lot of money for them. They just show up exactly when you need them. Curiously, they're asking me to leave this on the table, and if you want to touch a miracle, I'm not kidding. At the end of this, just come on up because they said we have imbued this with energy. I'm not kidding. So when this is over, if you want, and you need some, wave it by your heart, touch it, do what it, well, within reason. And just, I know some of you, okay? I'm just saying. So I've had sessions with some of you, and I know, so it's okay. But we're not going to go there. So just get some energy off of that feather and watch what happens. See where you feel it. See where you know what opens up. See, feel, hear.
You don't want to taste it.
No, you really don't want to taste it. I'm hitting all the clears. Clear cognizance, see what you know. Clear sentience, clear feeling, clairvoyance, clear seeing, clear audience, clear healing. Which one am I missing? Ambience, smell and taste. You don't want to smell and taste it?
No.
At all. If you want to smell and taste it, go ahead. You know what? Who am I to say?
Only if you're the last person.
Yeah. Really? And we had fun, didn't we? Yes. Ask you a question. How do you feel right now? How about that? When you tap into that which is here, when you tap into the truth of things, this is an automatic orientation and movement forward and towards that which is whole, and that which you are worth, and that which you are. And this is who you are. How this feels right now is your truth. Will you make different decisions if you come to a life situation from this place than when you knock on fear's door and ask the very same question? Do you think you'll get a different response? Every single time. If you're going to be faced with a life circumstance, the very last thing, and then we're going to do maybe one or two real quick readings, and I know we're getting close to the end here, but they really wanted to bring a lot of information. We'd really try to do some angel readings for you all, but they're saying this was really important tonight for you to hear this, because this is stuff that hasn't been taught before, some of this stuff. So we hope you're getting it and soaking it all in, because it's good stuff, man. And you can pass a pee in the cup test. You just took a big hit of this. Man, oh, this is great, man. I just came out of New Ossifer. I swear. I was at New Visions, man. Give me that. I'll blow right into it. I'm going to blow a 0. I'm just telling you. I know. No. Own this. Bring this forward. Hold this. If you're going to make a decision in life, if you, again, make it from this energy, not knocking on fear's door. Knock on fear's door, fear's going to answer. Please, hold this energy as much as you can in your life. Watch what happens to your peace of mind, your peace of heart, your health, your joy, the ease of movement in your life, physically, energetically. So much falls into place, right? Then why do we struggle with it? Because we think we know we're supposed to do these other things that don't align so much to our integrity. And we keep doing this, forgetting that we have wings. That we have wings. You can't make this stuff up. Is that perfect or not? Wish I could have done that. This is an assist, like you can't believe. So, well, you can believe, because it just happened. And that's how much you're loved, that they brought that forward for you. You ready? Let's do one quick one. Just because we can.
I thought you were going to do a hoo-wee.
We are going to do a hoo-wee in just a minute. Okay, let's do a hoo-wee. Ready? Wait. 3. Yes. So somebody has a dachshund in spirit, and I mean, in all the time I've been doing this, I think I've only seen one other dachshund in spirit, and it's right around here. Who's got the dachshund in spirit? That's where we're at. So I'm supposed to acknowledge that was this your dachshund? Yeah. Close association, something about my backside isn't working right. Do you understand that? She wants to, So you say. I guess you would know. Anyway, so what I'm supposed to acknowledge is this dog is acknowledging you and wants you to know that they're doing fine. There's an S in here somewhere. What's the dog's name? So Sammy. So Sammy wants you to know that welcome to our world, neighbors and friends.
That's how that works.
Of all the beings that wanted to come forward tonight, Sammy wanted to come forward for you.
Yeah, it's a dachshund.
To let you know that Sammy is around and tail wagging and everything works. The plumbing works. It all works. I'm supposed to tell you. I just did. And know that he's very, very happy, and thanks you very much for the love you brought forward. Oh, you just can't make that up. That's the note they want to end on, because if you want to know about the innate purity of love, look at what comes to you with your pets.
Yes.
What you give your pets, what your pets give you. Wow. Don't get me wrong, kids are great too. So my kids are going to see this. We have 3 boys, and they're going to say, Dad, really? Seriously? The dog? Honestly? Kids, I swear to God, I get it from you all the time. I'm looking right in the camera. I swear it's there, never in doubt. This is me and my mastery. I get it from the dog too, I'm just saying. So, but just pure, I don't care if you just yelled at me, I'm going to look at you and melt you with my eyes if I can. Won't you please come back to love for me? Well, how can I be mad at that, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's what's in you. Given you to remind you of who you really are and how they see you. Not too awful shabby, huh? Was it worth your time out tonight? You could have spent home time watching TV, I'm just saying. Thank you so much. It has been our pleasure. Got a feather up here for touching, feeling what I feel.